Sometimes acceptance brings change. Faster than pressure. Zacchaeus appears in the gospel account as a man who outwardly already has a lot. He has money, status, and the ability to influence others. Beside that, however, stands another side of his life: alienation, people's distrust, the reputation of someone they tolerate but do not accept. Those things aren't always visible at first glance. External success easily conceals inner emptiness. A person can possess resources, power, and comforts while living outside of genuine human intimacy. That's why Zacchaeus climbs up to see Jesus not as a casual onlooker. There's something more in his movement, a hidden thirst to see someone who can reveal another way of being. The turning point comes when Jesus stops and calls him by name. It's a small detail, but the power of the scene is concentrated in it. Jesus doesn't see a title, a reputation, or a social label. He sees a person. More than that, he goes to his house. He does it openly, in full view of everyone, with no attempt to soften the impression or keep his distance. To the onlookers, that gesture sounded like a mistake. To Zacchaeus, it meant something else. He could be approached without contempt. Where others saw an object of judgment, Jesus creates a space of safety and trust. Zacchaeus' response doesn't arise from fulfilling an external demand. Jesus doesn't begin the conversation with accusation, doesn't demand an accounting, and doesn't deliver a moral lecture. Yet it is precisely after being accepted that Zacchaeus' desire to make things right awakens. He speaks of giving back, of generosity, of making restitution. This is important. Change is born not under the pressure of shame, but out of liberation. While someone lives on the defensive, they cling to whatever props up their false stability. When the need for defense disappears, the freedom to let go of what they were holding on to emerges. Jesus' effect on a person here is strikingly similar to what we would today call deep psychological influence. He doesn't change Zacchaeus by command or break him with the force of authority. He touches the place where a person's hunger for dignity, belonging, and a chance to start over lives. Often that hidden need governs actions more than outward beliefs do. People pursue money, status, or control not merely for their own sake, but for the inner security they hope to gain through them. Jesus goes straight to the source of that thirst. So Zacchaeus didn't just need forgiveness or a new moral program. He needed to experience being known and not rejected, to know someone would enter his home not for gain, but for him, to know his life was not exhausted by his former role. In that atmosphere, a person begins to see themselves differently. They cease to be a prisoner of their defensive persona and, for the first time, have a chance to be themselves without the old masks. This is one of the gentlest and, at the same time, most powerful ways Jesus acts. Like an experienced psychologist, he changes a person not only through truth, conflict, or crisis, but through acceptance that makes the truth bearable. Sometimes a person cannot hear the call to change until they are convinced the change will not destroy them. Zacchaeus receives precisely that experience. For this reason, he leaves the encounter not simply forgiven, but inwardly shifted toward a new life. The story of Zacchaeus shows that Jesus' religious influence cannot be reduced to preaching or a miracle. It touches the very structure of personality, where shame, isolation, and defensive strategies have operated for years. A new foundation appears. Then, outward change becomes merely the consequence of an inner healing that has already begun.